Good morning. How are we all? Cold? It's warmer in here. Right. Welcome to our fourth annual Cyber Security Conference. Thanks for coming out in the cold today. I'm excited to hear our speakers' experiences and stories today. Been looking forward to that for a while. As usual, we host this event to raise awareness and to share experience. Please do interact with each other. I've been seeing that already. Talk to our speakers, talk to Loom and the Norfolk and Suffolk Cyber team that are outside as well. Yeah, and let's have a good day. Slight change to the agenda today from the published agenda. Phil is unable to make it, so we'll just tweak this morning's talks around. Unfortunately, I might talk for a bit longer, sorry. We're going to leave questions until the end. We'll do a Q&A panel. If you would like to pose questions, go to Slido, slido.com, and put in the code BWIT. Yeah, BWIT, and then you can pose your questions on there. You can start posing them now, and they'll be ready for when we start to do the Q&A, which will be the last thing we do. So first of all, I'd just like to take you through a brief history of viruses, my experience of viruses, and our experience of viruses. So I've been in IT quite a while now. Just want to take you back to, say, the year 2000, like one of the first viruses I experienced, and it was the I love you virus. Went around by email. Nice little VBS script. Everyone thought it was great. We're going to click on it, and then it just kept spreading and spreading. Look how far we've come here. In 2003, we had the Slammer virus. This is a SQL-based attack, and this graph, obviously stolen badly off the internet, is the spread of the virus within 10 minutes. This is in 2003. Look how far it went. In 2003, we had the Blaster virus. This also spread pretty quickly. It was to form an army of machines that was to try and disable the Microsoft update services. They had, even in a little message for Bill Gates that says, why do you make this possible? They made one big mistake on this. They put the wrong address in, so it didn't actually take down the Microsoft update services. However, the following year, 2004, the MyDoom virus was first detected. Used a really similar technique for spreading. And like Blaster, it was designed to take over machines and form a botnet and to attack Microsoft. A bit different, it was designed to attack the Microsoft servers on one day only, in like early February, and then it disabled itself. But then other variants popped up. It was able to disable Google, who at the time was quite a small company. And I don't know if anyone remembers Alta Vista or Lycos. It wasn't able to take them down. Not many people do. MyDoom does still exist. It's still around, and it still does happen. One of my favorite viruses of all time isn't really a virus, but I don't know if anyone remembers this guy. This was the virus of Rickrolling, where you try and trick someone into playing Rick Astley. This also still exists today. Anyway, they weren't too serious. They didn't really cause that much of an issue, especially not to me in my career. And it was only really when we start to get a bit more recent that we start to have viruses that start to get a lot more disruptive. In 2014 and 2015, we at Breakwater experienced our first ransomware attacks. The first one took over a PC and started encrypting files into my documents. We were able to just take that machine off the network, no real harm done. No one paid the ransom. The following year, they had changed their tactics to start encrypting network drives. Again, we were able to recover. We had a good backup. We restored the backup and took the machine off the network, and away we went. It was absolutely fine. Not too much of a hassle. 2014 was also the first year that Cyber Essentials was introduced. Then fast forward a bit to 2017, we start to get a bit more serious with things like ransomware. We had the WannaCry virus, which was quite serious ransomware. It used a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows, XP, Windows 7. It hit the NHS quite badly, and it was only live for 7 hours before someone hit the kill switch on it. But in that 7 hours, it still affected 300,000 machines in 150 countries. It's since been confirmed that it originated in North Korea, so we're talking nation-state hacking here. We're not just talking Rickrolling or something for fun, or just trying to take Microsoft servers offline. In 2017, a similar attack used the similar vulnerabilities. It famously disabled large organizations such as Maersk Shipping, TNT, FedEx, and many Ukrainian companies and organizations. This was nation-state hacking from Russia. They had taken over a piece of accounting software from a Ukrainian organization, and they'd attacked their automatic update service. So when these companies got their automatic update of this accounting software, it downloaded their machines and attacked them and was able to take over. It then spread around their networks, elevated itself, and Sorry, that's the screenshot from it. It says give Bitcoin. It says we'll give you your data back, but they didn't on this occasion. They just trashed everything. This wasn't actually ransomware. This was just, we're just going to trash stuff. So most things that got hit with this would have had to have been rebuilt and recovered that way. So they were global attacks. Again, they didn't really affect us. We've got good patching systems in place. We were able to rush around and make sure that everything was patched, double check and things like that when they happened. But we'd like to talk about an attack that we came across earlier in the year. So it's a bit more sinister, and it's about getting money from us as businesses. So in April, I woke up one Thursday morning and noticed that a load of servers were offline at one company and their network was offline. We had the alerts came in about 1 o'clock in the morning. After some network tests, we couldn't work out what it was, so we went to site and we sent a couple of engineers. And this is our engineers tapping away. We know IT can be a bit serious, so we wanted to make this story a bit more visual and a bit more fun, hence the use of the GIFs. At first, we did think about using interpretive dance. That didn't go very well. So we settled back on GIFs. Anyway, back to the story. We were looking on the network, and we came across this message on the server. Not this exact message, but a very similar one. One that essentially says it's a text file on the server. Every time you restart the server, this message came up. Go to the dark web, send your money, we'll send you the decryption, you can get your servers back. That's not a very nice thing to happen. And this is roughly how we felt, but like 10 times worse. So just want to give you a bit of background on this network. This isn't a network that has had no care or no thought to security put in. It's a well-protected network. They have good firewalls. They have up-to-date servers. They have regular vulnerability scans with no serious vulnerabilities. They had antivirus. They had email filtering, MFA across their remote access. We'd been discussing security at board level. They'd agreed to put in user awareness training, conditional access for 365, USB blocking, and password management. So all things that we'd recommend. A couple of things that hadn't been considered or that had been put on hold temporarily: penetration testing, Cyber Essentials Plus. We see this as a common theme. People will see these things to do, and they'll think, oh, it's an expense, or is it really going to make much of a difference? Anyway, our response, first of all, we contained the system. We disconnected from the internet, took the servers offline, so if there was still people on them, they weren't able to go and do anything else. We tested the integrity of the backup. That was absolutely key. We had to make sure that we could recover as the next step. We needed to know that. So we knew they were. We called Datto, the company who hosts them. They tested everything. We knew we could turn on them servers in the cloud, and we were absolutely fine. That's key to have a good backup system, right? The company had cyber insurance. We contacted the cyber insurance company. They engaged a security company to help us investigate. They installed forensic tools to try and find out what happens. And they were looking for network movement and people, still hackers still in the network. We did other checks on their cloud-based systems to make sure they hadn't been compromised, reset passwords, just made sure everything we were aware of had been passwords reset so that if anyone had compromised a password, they hadn't elevated themselves there. So, next came to thinking about our systems. So we obviously have a lot of management systems, documentation systems, and remote control. We hoped that because it was only one of our clients that had been compromised, that it wasn't our management systems. We figured that from what we've seen in the past, if management systems get compromised, they take everyone out. And so we hoped it wasn't, but we still reset passwords. We still went through logs. We still engaged the security company to help us to look at that. We couldn't find anything whatsoever. So the recovery. The Datto system allowed us to recover servers from when we needed to. So we could have had servers up on the Friday, but we had to take it a bit slow and only bring them up on the Monday so we could ensure that we had the right restore points. So we didn't restore a server that had hacker tools on, and so on and so on. After then, we got everything recovered. We then took all the old server hard drives out, took any laptops that had been compromised, and we chucked them in the bin. So I just like using GIFs. So the next question was, how did they gain access to the system? It honestly was a mystery. So it took about 2 months. We went through so many logs, so many ways of where it could have come in, and there was no smoking guns, nothing sitting there saying what it was. So after about 2 months, we had to remove the forensic tools from the system and we installed Sentinel-1 as an EDR system, thank you ConnectWise. And within the first day, we picked up on one of the machines. There's some security, no, I can't think. There was something on a machine that raised awareness that something had gone wrong on that machine. So we took that machine off the network and we sent it to the security company who ran their forensic tools. So the interesting thing is it came back that the user of that machine had gone to a website legitimately searching for some professional terms. They downloaded some information. They downloaded a zip file that had a malicious payload in it. And it was that had allowed that entire network to be compromised. They were able to then move around, sniff for credentials, and to plan their attack. They tried taking out the backup system. They took out the old backup system. And then they started to encrypt the virtual servers on the virtual host side, and they ran tools to hide their attack. And they left the ransomware note on the server. And they obviously do it at 1 o'clock in the morning because everyone else is going to be asleep. No one's going to catch them in the process of doing it. Mystery solved. Anyway, moving on, obviously, we didn't engage with the threat actor or bad actor. We didn't want to give them money. We didn't want to let them know that we were aware, or to give them even a hint that we might want to engage with them. That would make them think that they're winning. So at no point did anyone engage with the threat actor. We didn't give them any money, no emails, no communication, nothing whatsoever. This would not have been possible had we not had a ring-fence backup system. So, in conclusion, I suppose, for what I'm trying to say is that we've learned from a lot of this. Every one of them viruses we've managed to learn something from. From this episode earlier in the year, we've been able to learn from. We've been able to think about how we protect systems, and we've been doing some of the following things. We can stop these attacks from happening. So this year we've started to look at zero trust no one. So we've started to look at application whitelisting first, which means we don't trust applications. We're going on to looking at zero trust on networks and zero trust on data access. We've partnered with Illum. Illum, they're here today. They do penetration testing. They've started to go through people that we've engaged with, and they're now penetration testing them networks. They will try and get into your system. Say hello to them. They've got a lot of information. We've highlighted that antivirus is no longer good enough. You need systems EDR where the machines will talk to them. It's like antivirus on steroids. It uses AI. We need to look at when movement is happening from machines that doesn't normally happen across the network to spot where someone's moving from one machine to another. We've seen people investing more in cyber training for their staff. This is absolutely essential. No one wants to click on something. No one wants to download something bad. So we've got to give people the tools and the ability to spot when things are wrong. And finally, we've created our cyber score. Most people do have more than 15% on their cyber score, by the way. This is on our website. Go and have a look. It's a free tool. This is me just taking a really quick screenshot. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough for me.